Even Zuma said, be careful of IEC. They might rig the elections, and we got to be very vigilant about this. But we got plans in place as MK to make sure that this can't happen.
The plans, guys.
and I can't divulge all of that to you, but I can tell you that there are a lot of people within the ANC at senior levels that are quietly working with us. There are a lot of ANC leaders who love Zuma. And
within the current ANC.
There are no longer leaking information to the DA and to Action SA. They bring it to us. So that is why I am confident, I can say without a shadow of doubt, as sure as night follows day, the ANC's days are numbered. It's over.
Hey yo guys, my name is Usanele. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Today I'm giving you guys more value than you've ever thought. Beside me is a gentleman by the name of Visvin Reddy, and he is the president of African Democratic Change, and that is an organization in Durban which is doing very, very amazing and good things. And I'll give him an opportunity to tell us about his background and where he comes from, and we are going to discuss a lot. How are you, Mr.?
Thank you very much, Sanele. Thank you for the opportunity to come on your channel, and also to all your followers. I can tell you that this interview is going to be exciting and it's going to be a game changer. So those that are watching, I urge you to share this message, because what we want to do is change the thinking of South Africans.
Exactly.
The future of this country. If you want change, it doesn't belong to politicians, it doesn't belong to anybody else but yourself. It lies in your hands.
By the way, this gentleman beside me, he just lost his uncle or cousin.
My uncle.
Right now, as we watch, we're shooting this video here, he just told me bad news, man, and sad news. He lost his uncle. May his soul rest in peace, and condolences to the family. He's a strong guy. I actually told him to cancel the interview, but he said, no, son, let's do it so we can give South Africans and Africans value, and he's going to share knowledge with us, guys. Please, if you do have a pen and paper, take down notes. If you do have open mind, open your minds and listen carefully, guys. He's currently one of the guys who are very, very vocal about the MK party, and I'll say it right in front of you guys. He's actually cheering Jacob Zuma, and he's saying MK is here for people. But we are going to get into that. Mr. Please tell us about your background and where you come from.
I've been a community activist almost all my life, ever since student politics. I was involved in the SRC, I was chairman, I arranged protest action, always involved in protests, because I believed then, I'm 53 years old now, and this we're talking about over 30 years ago. I believed then that when the government and the authorities fail you, the solution lies in mass mobilization of the people. And in South Africa, we have seen that being demonstrated. The ANC changed this country. We removed apartheid just through mass mobilization and mass support. And I believe that that is ultimately the only way that we will be able to bring change in this country, through mass action. So I've been involved in student politics, in activism all my life, and as I do at the moment. I'm currently, like you said, the president of African Democratic Change. I'm also a councillor in eThekwini municipality. I also have some businesses.
So you are a councillor, you are a councillor for which, what you call region, place, like, maybe in Verulam?
Or... No. I'm a councillor, a PR councillor, representing the party in eThekwini. We decided to come into the elections very late. It was a month before the elections. We contested only 2 municipalities. In the Free State, there was 1 municipality there where we won about 3 seats, and in eThekwini we won 1 seat. So you can see that even with the short space of time, we were still able to win seats. I'm also involved in business. I think it's important.
Sorry, man, while we're still talking about business, the name might sound familiar. We have here, right in front of me, it's Visvin, Visvin. And we have Vivian in Durban, also a very, very successful business person. That's Vivian with V-I-V-I-A. So they don't mix them. The difference is he is Visvin, not the guru and successful, wealthy business person from Durban. No, but obviously he is successful on his field and stuff. He does run a business, but he's more focused on being active on politics, and he's very, very vocal to help the youth and stuff. So while we are on that, Can we just talk, go straight to it, man. Your relationship with Jacob Zuma, because I saw pictures of you with Jacob Zuma, and I don't want to say it all, but you tell me about your relationship with Zuma.
My relationship with the former president spans many, many years. It goes right back to the time when he was the deputy president of the country and when he was removed because of charges that were trumped up against him, the rape charges. You would recall it was during that time that I actually arranged a meeting, a mass meeting in Chatsworth during the height of these charges, and where he was removed as the deputy president of the country, but he was the deputy president of the ANC. He came there and he met the people and he explained himself. This, of course, went on national news. I've been a great follower of his during the Polokwane conference. As an ANC member, I went to that conference with 21 delegates. My branch was one of the largest branches.
Of your current organization?
No, in the ANC.
Oh, in the
I was
ANC.
I was ANC member, a leader in the ANC. So I went to that Polokwane conference where Zuma had beaten Mbeki, Thabo Mbeki.
Malema was still there, by the way.
Yes, he was still there in the youth league. And by the way, I have a great deal of respect for Malema, Julius Malema. I think much of what he says resonates with what I'm saying and my own thinking about the country. So I have a great deal of respect for him. Now, so at that time, I went to Polokwane with 21 delegates. So I had one of the largest branches of the ANC in the country. Yes, and I attended that. We were successfully able to install Zuma as the president. And my feeling has always been that Zuma is one of those leaders that's breaking away from the capture of the ANC. Understand this. ANC has been captured during Mandela's time.
Before some of us were born.
Correct. Before you were born.
Yeah.
The real capture of the state began during the time when Mandela was in prison. And a lot of people, especially young people, do not know this history. And it's important that you understand this history.
Then the question will be, someone watching this might say, then why were the people not vocal about the country or the ANC being captured while it was still, okay, I understand Mandela, but during Thabo Mbeki's time?
The reason is that these people that were part of Mandela's clique within the ANC benefited financially from this arrangement that they had, from the handlers. These politicians in the ANC.
Sorry to cut you. Guys, you are listening from the guy who's been within the ANC from a long time. So listen carefully.
So what you've had is that you've had these handlers, and these are the Johan Ruperts, and we'll call them, for lack of a better word, white monopoly capital, that were intent on stealing our resources in this country.
Yeah.
South Africa doesn't have to be a poor country. We're not a poor country. We have enough money in this country. That's why the Freedom Charter says that the wealth of the land must be shared among the people. If the wealth of the land of this country was shared among our people, there will be no poverty. Our poverty rates in the country is about 60%. There'll be no unemployment in this country. There will be no a health system that's failing. There will be a proper police system, justice system, anti-crime system. So all that will happen if only the wealth of the land was shared among the people. But what was happening was that just a few white business people were
but no, not just white, even our own color.
No, I'm coming to that. I'm talking about during the apartheid days. During the apartheid days, they captured the National Party that was in government, and they then controlled the sectors. Let's understand this. The mining sector. The mining sector. Do you know South Africa is one of the top 10 producers of mineral resources in the world, in the whole world? We are one of the largest producers of coal. We produce diamonds, manganese, gold, steel. We had a lot of industries in this country, creating a lot of jobs during the apartheid era. Our fuel, for example, petrol. I am the national convener of People Against Petrol Price Increases. So I was the one who uncovered this, that Sasol was a company that was built and developed by the apartheid government to mitigate against sanctions. So the idea behind Sasol was that it will use coal to make fuel, the price of manufacturing that fuel is only 6 rand a litre. That's why I still argue that South Africans should be paying only 10 rand a litre and not more if we use Sasol fuel. So, but these were controlled by this white cartel. I don't mean all whites, I'm talking about some of these whites. So they became very worried when they started seeing that the National Party was losing its grip on this country, and they saw that the country was now moving towards the ANC. The National Party leadership under P.W. Botha, F.W. de Klerk, they opened the channels for people like Johan Rupert and other big business people to go in and meet Mandela personally and privately. They had private meetings with Mandela, and those things are recorded. It's there for everybody to see. Why would these big business people go and meet Mandela in private? They had several meetings with Mandela while he was in prison. Even his own comrades, Mandela's own comrades in the ANC, were noticing this and were questioning, how is it that our leader is meeting with our oppressor in private? What is going on? What was the discussions going on there? What was the secret deals? Well, the secret deals emerged during CODESA. Because the deals was that you take ANC leaders that Mandela handpicked, and the leader among that, leader of the pack, was Cyril Ramaphosa. He was the one who got shares in most of the companies and directorships. They gave it to him.
But that was before he was a president.
Correct. Before he was a president. I'm talking about during the transitional period. During the transitional period, there were many ANC leaders that took on board positions and directorships in many of these companies that were predominantly white-owned. And they call this BEE, Black Economic Empowerment. But it's not actually black economic empowerment. If you realize it just now, it was actually protecting white vested interest. They identified these key people that will go into government
so
later.
More like securities.
Correct. They use them as security to prevent them from sharing their profits with the people of this country. Why is it that in Nsfas, why is it that Nsfas must be paid for from VAT? You tell me this. Why is it that there should be a problem for our students to get Nsfas when there's money that's in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange?
Money is there.
It's there. I'll tell you this. Of all the companies on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, you go to all of these companies there, you'll find that the reserves is almost 3 trillion rands, which is 3 times the total budget of this country. That's the reserves on the JSE. And if those reserves are nationalized, it'll go back into the country. Our taxes will come down, our fuel prices will come down, our students will not have to pay for tuition, there will be jobs for everybody, our hospitals will be first class, state-of-the-art hospitals, our policemen, our nurses, our teachers will be paid well, there will be enough money in this country. Right now, it's just a few white billionaires that's making this money, and they're sharing it with some of the crooks in the ANC.
That's including our current president, right?
Our current president was the leader of the pack, as I mentioned. He was captured. He was given all these shares, board shares. Ask yourself a simple question. Now I want your viewers and your followers to answer this. How did Cyril Ramaphosa become a billionaire? Do you know today he's one of the wealthiest people in Africa, if not the world? He's a billionaire. Did he invent anything like Elon Musk or anything like that? What business did he have? What business? He had no business. He's only got shares. Those shares is what? It's actually bribery. He was bribed. He accepted these shares. Now understand this picture. So when Mandela came into power, this captains of industry, they knew, here's Mandela, we captured him. We got all these people, we put them onto the boards. What they will do, they will make sure land is not expropriated. They will make sure that the banks are not nationalized. They will make sure that that the people will not share in the wealth of the land. That their profits will be secured and safe. That was their job. Do you know that during Mandela's cabinet, the Minister of Finance tabled a report that said that there must be a capital tax. A capital tax.
And what's that?
That's a tax that you impose on the companies listed on the JSE and the profits that they make. I think it was about 40%. To say from the profits, 40% must come back and go into the state and pay for for the reconstruction and development program, addressing the imbalances of the past, building better schools, universities, giving our people a good quality of life. The ANC cabinet at the time rejected it, and yet it was ANC, and yet it was a policy of the ANC to do that.
So they were rejecting their own policy.
They were rejecting their own policy because they were bribed by big business. That's the bottom line. These are crooks. These are crooks in the ANC that sold out the people's struggle for a few shillings and some rands. So Ramaphosa is only one of them. Go to others. Maria Ramos.
So what's your take on Kgalema Motlanthe?
Well, I haven't heard of Kgalema. I actually think he's one of the cleaner leaders. I don't talk about Fikile Mbalula. Fikile Mbalula is actually doing a great job for the opposition in this country. He's actually doing a wonderful job. Every time he opens his mouth,
so it's more
he
like
chases,
he's campaigning for other parties.
Yes, he's decampaigning.
ANC.
Correct. He's decampaigning the ANC. I sometimes wonder maybe he's also collecting money from the DA and all the other parties, because every time Mbalula opens his mouth, he chases away voters from the ANC. And this one is still an amateur. He's still an infant, a political
infant.
infant.
There for long.
He's been there for long. He hasn't learned. If you cannot see what I'm telling you, then you are a political infant, especially if you've been in the ANC. If you cannot see how the ANC has been captured by big business. Now let me finish the story. When Mandela became the president, Mandela handpicked Ramaphosa to take over. Remember, Ramaphosa was the deputy president at the time.
Yeah.
When the ANC conference took place, the ANC delegates rejected it. And Ramaphosa was taken out. He resigned. When Ramaphosa didn't make it to become deputy president of the country, what did he do? He resigned, even as Secretary General, and he went full-time into business. And Mandela covered up and made a story and said, we are deploying Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa into business. So he can go there and he can make sure that the ANC and the people of this country can get a fair share of the profits of the business of industry in the country. That is what he did. So then, when people like Jacob Zuma became the leader of the ANC and became president of this country, and Zuma started talking about a thing called radical economic transformation, it sent shivers up the spines.
So let's balance the conversation, because now we went from Mandela, we're coming to Zuma. We're leaving Thabo Mbeki. As much as people are quiet about him, what's your thought on Thabo Mbeki?
Well, Thabo Mbeki was one of those leaders also who were not captured. Because if he was captured by business, then I can tell you the business would have started jumping and hopping even before when he was president. They actually, he was not one of those that was captured by big business.
That's for sure.
There was not much. Yes. But Zuma came in with radical economic transformation, and he spoke about the fact he actually went right down to grassroots here, to brass tacks, where the rubber met the road. And he said that the country is captured by big white, he called this white monopoly capital. He never beat around the bush. And every time he spoke, they started shivering. These big white business, they were shivering. They didn't like what he was talking about. Nationalizing mines, nationalizing this, nationalizing that. So what do you think they did? They called their boy, Ramaphosa, because it's their boy they put in there to go and take care of their interests. And they said to him, boy, you're going to come out of business, you need to get back into government. You need to go and become the president. We don't like this man here, Zuma. We don't like what he's talking. And what were they doing in the meantime? They were experimenting with the DA. They told the DA, you go DA and start winning black votes. You see the DA, we can't leave the DA out here. DA is a white party. It's a party that's with white vested interests. But there was a time when the DA started an experiment to try and win over black votes.
They were using, what's his name?
Musi Maimane, Herman Mashaba, all these people that you see now that left. They used them, they said, we'll use this to win black votes. Because business knows...
They won quite a lot of votes.
No, it wasn't enough. Business knows that the black vote in this country is too much. It's over 70%. So if you can't make inroads with the black vote, you're wasting your time. And they were investing millions in DA, right? So what did this business do? The same funders, the handlers of the DA, the business, remember, the one that funds you calls the tune. Who pays you is who decides what song you sing. So they were paying the DA. Now hear me, Sanele. They then said, we need to now get into the ANC because our capture of the ANC is not complete. We need Ramaphosa to come back. They took him out of business where he was making good money. And they told him, hey, boy, get back there. We want you back in government. Remember what we sent you for?
Yeah.
So they spent 1 billion rands in the CR17 campaign. The same white business. 1 billion rand during the CR17 campaign. You remember that campaign?
Yeah.
Nasrec. To make him win that conference. They said if he wins that conference, he'll become the president.
Yeah.
So he stood against Zuma. Right? And you know what? In spite of paying 1 billion rand, 1 billion rand, a lot of money.
So the question now is, the same funders of Cyril Ramaphosa, they were not funding that campaign of Zuma must fall. Are they not the ones?
They were behind it. Because remember, Zuma became the enemy.
Yeah.
Zuma became the enemy number one. And they said they will use whatever it takes, they'll do whatever it takes to destroy this man. Because he's the one that's exposing their state capture program, and he's the one that's exposing what they were doing, the skullduggery that they were involved in.
Plus, it was creating a lot of opportunities for small businesses.
Zuma.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Absolutely. I mean, he created more black billionaires in this country, millionaires in this country than any other president did. And that is a fact. The people that Mandela's government created, the millionaires there, are all people that became millionaires through being given shares, given shareholding, ownership of companies.
So now,
for
why
nothing.
the people of the public were not seeing what Zuma was doing?
Well, I think many of them have. Because the
But
truth...
it's only now that we realize that
Correct.
we lost.
And sometimes in life, you need to lose something
So you
to
can-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
You need to lose something to appreciate it. When they lost Zuma, then only they realized, hey, in Zuma, we had a better president. Our country was better under him. There was no load shedding under Zuma. And there was zero. And he had a plan to keep load shedding at bay. And today, there's load shedding. Zuma brought Nsfas. Zuma brought funding in spite of monopoly capital and in spite of people like Cyril Ramaphosa opposing it. He pushed it, and that's why we got Nsfas. Getting every student that's got Nsfas funding today, it's because of Zuma. So there's a need for us to go back. Now this is the reality, and I want us to look at this very, very carefully, right? Zuma in the ANC has tremendous influence. Let me explain. During Zuma's tenure as the president, the ANC did better than even when Mandela was president. Do you know that?
In terms of?
Votes and membership.
Oh, yeah. there you
The
are.
membership of the ANC during Zuma's term as president was over 1.1 million members. Card-carrying members, members that paid to become members of the ANC. Today, it's sitting at less than 500,000. Come Fikile Mbalula, dispute what I'm saying.
Sure.
I want Fikile Mbalula to dispute what I'm saying.
Sure.
He is the Secretary General of...
More than 40% drop.
More than 50%. He is the engine room of a car where the tires have fallen
So
off.
now we are getting into the point now.
Correct.
This is where MK and this whole political thing playing now comes in. Or did I disturb you on that?
No.
Let us go into MK, man, because we have to discuss about it.
Yes. So MK has come in at the right time.
Yeah.
Many of the ANC disillusioned members, and there's over 600,000 members that left the ANC, left because they're unhappy with Ramaphosa's leadership and the current leadership of the ANC. Many of them, including people like Gwede Mantashe.
Is Gwede Mantashe with the MK now?
No. Many of these people are singing for their supper. Understand that. Many of these ANC leaders have got no backbone. They don't put the country and the members first. They are actually sitting and they are benefiting through cabinet posts and shares in companies. They don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So they're part of this agenda. So singing for their supper. Some of them are attacking Zuma because they're worried where they're going to go next. I can tell you this, that the ANC days are numbered. It's gone. ANC is gone. Before MK came on the scene, we thought ANC would get 49%. That 49% was only of people that were ANC supporters. Right? Listen carefully to what I'm saying. More than half of that 49% is moving to MK. And those that didn't vote and those that supported other parties like EFF, like ATM and other smaller parties, they are all coming back to MK.
Yeah.
MK is going to be the party that's going to draw all of them together. So when Zuma says, and understand that Zuma is a strategist, he's a chess player.
Exactly.
Everybody that knows him, they know that he's a smart leader. He plans his moves. He knows what he's doing. At the moment, when he never said, I'm leading MK party. He never said, I'm the president of MK party. All he said was, I'm going to be campaigning for MK party. And I'm going to vote for MK party. Just that made the ANC to start jumping up and down and shivering, not knowing where to go. And they started saying all sorts of things because they know the power that Zuma wields within the ANC. And I can tell you now with confidence, right? I'll give you some information. We as MK, we are talking to...
You're saying we?
I'm working with MK.
Okay.
We as ADIC, we have taken a decision that we are fully supporting MK. We are going to be campaigning for MK in the elections. We're not going to be contesting the forthcoming elections under ADIC. If I did, I would have won a few seats in government, that's for sure. My popularity ratings are very high in the country. There's no doubt I would have won a couple of seats. But I don't want to win few seats because being a minority party, us the DA, they're a minority party. Us the EFF, in government you are useless. You've got to have the numbers. Politics is about the numbers.
So your numbers will go to MK?
We are voting for MK. We are voting for MK. So MK can be the party that will be in power in this country and will replace the ANC. The elephant in the room is the ANC. Understand this, my friend. The ANC of today, the Ramaphosa ANC of today, is not the ANC that we've inherited. The ANC that leaders have fought and died for to bring our country to where it is today. It's not the same
Because
ANC.
we are in that swimming pool, you are swimming within the political...
Correct. With the sharks.
Yeah, we are within the sharks.
Yes.
Can you differentiate for the viewers and people watching this, difference between MK and ANC? Because now some people are saying MK is like...
ANC like...
It's more like the same thing.
No, it'll never be the same thing. Because remember this, MK wants to restore what the ANC was supposed to have done. And let me not beat around the bush and let me be honest with you. The ANC's intentions for this country were noble and they were good. Before. If you look at all the founding documents of the ANC, you will find that what the founding members of the ANC wanted was for the good of all our people. Why is it that our preamble to the Constitution and to ANC documents says that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white? Why does it say that? So you've seen that over the years, ANC leaders have become so corrupt that they are so busy seeing what tenders, where they can put their hands into the cookie jar, they forgot about the people. In fact, these ANC leaders, are they known? I want to ask them, right? Simple. Call a minister. Call Becky Cele. Call Mbalula. Call. Not your ANC branch meetings where they're forced to come. Call a public meeting. Call a public meeting in a town hall. And let's see who can bring more people. Me or them. I'll fill up a place more because I'm in touch with people on the ground. They are not. When last did they go down to communities and meet people on the ground?
Now they're busy campaigning.
Now they will come. Elections are around the corner. You will suddenly start seeing these MP ministers and the president all coming, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing all those things to come and what? To bluff you. And some of our people will get bluffed. Be careful of this ANC. This ANC is just out there to come and destroy you. If you want to save this country, if you want to protect the interests of our students and the future of this country, it is only through MK and other progressive organizations. You see, I'll be failing in my duty if I did not confess that the party that also resonates with my views is EFF.
EFF, right?
Yes. Julius Malema has been saying the very same things I've been saying ever since he launched EFF.
So you agree with the border thing? The borders must be open?
I don't agree with that. That's why I say with Malema, there are certain places where I think he lost the plot. With the borders, he lost the plot. So there will be differences. But right now, those disgruntled ANC voters, those that never went out to vote, those that have chosen other political parties because the ANC is the home, we want you to know that your home right now is MK. It's nothing else but MK.
And who's funding MK?
Right. You see, we don't want to go to white monopoly capital. The same business that's captured the ANC has also captured the DA, has captured Action SA.
Because you see, there are a lot of people watching this, and there are a lot of people who will be watching this in future, maybe after a week or 1 year, I don't know when. Every president comes, that's what I believe, every president comes in with his own sponsors and people who are funding the party. From back then, Mandela, Thabo Mbeki. So we know for a fact that Jacob Zuma was being funded and being pushed by the Guptas. We cannot neglect that. So now somebody will say, okay, Zuma moved into MK. Are the Guptas coming back?
No, I can't tell you that. But right now, as a political party, we rely on members. Members are buying their own shirts. Members are actually buying their own shirts. We're not giving away shirts.
So now, how do you guys do your campaigns? And
We
every rally costs a lot.
every one of our campaigns are funded by the members themselves. But we in a fundraising campaign we are. But one thing that our President Zuma made very clear, that whoever funds us must not come with a hand like this, what's in it for me? If you're funding this organization...
Because I have to say that I've seen a lot of, African traditional healers. I'll name his name, man. Dr. Kesilezi, you know him?
Yes.
He's been very vocal about MK and stuff. So finances play a role in terms of getting positions on different parties.
It's not about, well, in other parties, yes. But we want to move away from that. As MK, we want to move away from where money will determine whether you get a position or not. That is capture. That is how business and others have captured political parties and our government by throwing their money so they can secure positions and put their people in places. Pravin Gordhan is a puppet of a white monopoly capital. They insisted that he must be put there so he can protect their interests. Pravin Gordhan. So you'll find that where Ramaphosa is, you'll see Pravin Gordhan there. And I am surprised that ANC leaders who have been in the struggle and who have been fighting against apartheid and things cannot see this. They're still going and perpetuating and supporting a system because to me, they are all captured. All captured. So Zuma has actually broken away from that and he said, look, this form of capture is something, and he even told me, he discussed it with me. He said to me, the state capture that's taking place now, there's so much that we don't know.
Sure.
There's so much that we don't know. And he knows. What we are talking about, and what I'm telling you, is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. If you think Gupta's was a problem, no. Gupta's was small. It's a drop in the ocean. These guys have been milking it. They've been raping our country. Raping our country. That's what they've been doing. The real rapists in this country are our white monopoly capital and the ANC leaders that have sold out to white monopoly capital so that they can just enrich themselves at the expense of the people.
So now Jacob Zuma, MK current, he's not a president, right?
No.
He's not a president. And he was banned from being, what you call a president?
IEC.
IEC. What was that?
You know, this is something I don't understand, right? IEC is not a political party.
Yeah.
Why
but obviously IEC is run by ANC.
By ANC.
Yeah.
That's why even Zuma said, be careful of IEC. They might rig the elections. And we got to be very vigilant about this. But we got plans in place as MK to make sure that this can't happen.
Yeah, the plans, guys.
and I can't divulge all of that to you, but I can tell you that there are a lot of people within the ANC at senior levels that are quietly working with us. There are a lot of ANC leaders who love Zuma and
within the current ANC.
There are no longer leaking information to the DA and to Action SA. They bring it to us. So that is why I am confident, I can say without a shadow of doubt, as sure as night follows day, the ANC's days are numbered. It's over. It's not the DA saying this. It's not the pact of political parties or a coalition or the EFF that's saying it. I'm saying to you as MK, the ANC's days are numbered. And that is why they had an emergency NEC meeting over the weekend. And at that meeting, they realized all their advisors told them MK is a threat. They're now trying to devise ways to try and to stop MK. They cannot stop us. The move is too big. The people in this country have said we've had enough of this ANC. We want them out. We want to show them the door.
Is the EFF a threat to MK?
Not at all.
Because they're having
No.
It's a launch or what's on the 10th.
On the 10th.
And they'll fill up Moses Mabhida, I know that.
They will, but okay, we talk about stadium, filling stadium.
Yeah.
Filling up a stadium is not an indicator of how people vote. Let me give you an example. Before the last election, right, the same EFF filled up FNB Stadium. Remember? I never saw a political party rally in South Africa like that. But how many percent of the vote the EFF got? They got 10.3%. The DA, which can't even fill up a small hall somewhere, had 22% of the vote.
That's double
That's double what the EFF had. Yet they don't have these big rallies.
And what causes that?
Because today to fill up a stadium is very easy, but it's counterproductive. I want to give advice to political parties: don't waste your time and your money. It's easy to fill up a stadium. Give hungry people one meal, a KFC or chicken licken. Give them transport and give them entertainment.
More especially if they're going to Durban. We are in KZN. If people are going to Durban from here in Maritzburg,
that's a holiday in itself.
That's a holiday for them.
Go and look at the rally immediately after the rally where everyone's gone. They're all gone to the beach in Durban. So why these parties are having the rallies in Durban? Why? Why in Durban? They're giving them a free visit to the beach.
So
that's what it's all about. Yeah, and then you see it on the TV and you say, there's a big support here. No. Those people are coming for the wrong reasons.
They're not there for the...
But when you see some of the rallies that we are having as MK currently, that are just organized by communities by people on their own. Thousands of correct. Thousands of people are coming. No food is given, no entertainment, nothing. People are hungry because they want a future. They want hope. They want a better life. And that the ANC has deprived them of all of this.
That's very deep, right? So now somebody will say Jacob Zuma was. I don't want to go out of Jacob Zuma because he is the main character, in MK. He was a president before Cyril Ramaphosa, as much as we saw him doing whatever he did. But now what he is preaching at the moment, it's something that he could have done while he was still a president.
100%. Yeah. What many people do not realize was that Zuma had all the right intentions then, but he didn't have it.
And he had 10 years.
Yes, but he didn't have a team in those 10 years that was supporting his intentions. Because you had a captured team. Remember what I said. Don't ever lose sight of the fact that on the one side, you had this white monopoly capital that wanted to capture South Africa, capture our SOEs, our SAA, our Eskom, all our state-owned enterprises. They wanted to capture it. Look at it. As soon as Ramaphosa became the president, the very next day they started the program of capturing. They started unbundling Eskom. Unbundling is privatization of Eskom. They started getting private involvement into Eskom, destroying the whole system, where our country got plunged into darkness. We have more darkness than light today in this country because of what had happened. Now you must ask yourself, if Zuma has the right team around him, it's going to be a change for the better. There's no other way.
Who's the current president of UK?
It's Kumalo, but
is he the president or just a spokesperson?
No, he's the president. He's the president.
Is he the one who will be like in ballots and all that?
No. You see, the party is evolving. The party is engaging with the communities, with people on the ground. We don't want to be a top-down.
Zuma is still behind the scenes strategizing.
No, he's a strategist. So it's not a top-down approach. Yeah. This has to be a down-up approach, where people on the ground actually decide. You
mean members of MK?
Yeah, the members of, and our membership, by the way, has swept. Imagine, just over 1 month in existence, our membership, that signed members of the party, exceeds 1.2 million.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. No other political party, not even the ANC, has got that membership.
Say that's in KZN and Gauteng only.
Not really. Our membership is spread all over the country. In KZN, the largest. Gauteng, second largest. But we're talking about just over a month. Now, we have not campaigned in other provinces, but we can tell you people, it's coming now. Right? It's coming now. And those figures are changing every single minute. Every minute we speak, people are joining.
A lot. And what's your take on Israel and Palestine?
Firstly, I must thank the government, our government, for what it did in terms of going to court there and getting that ruling in our favor, although it was not exactly what we wanted. But I wish the South African government can use the same energy that it used to go and fight for Palestine, for it to fight for unemployed people in this country, victims of crime in this country, and the genocides that we are faced with in this country. They behave as though there is no genocide in South Africa. We have 27,000 people that are murdered in this country every year, the highest murder rate in the world. And the ANC behaves as though we are a fine country, everything is fine. Poverty is our number one enemy. Yeah, it's killing our people daily.
And you're not against them, doing whatever they're doing.
No, I'm not.
You're just saying that
They must also use the same energy here. But it begs the question, and some people are saying, why is the ANC become so interested now in this Palestine issue? Somebody said the other day, is it because they're getting funding?
Maybe.
We don't know. And the latest one, which I found was quite hilarious, where somebody posted an Islamic organization of some sort. They said that the biggest pro-Palestinian rally that's ever going to happen in the world is going to happen in Moses Mabhida on the certain date. And when I checked on that date what's happening, it's actually the ANC's manifesto launch in that same stadium. So they are using the manifesto launch of the ANC to make it a Palestine anti-Israel protest. Now, isn't that an insult to the people of Palestine?
Exactly.
To use your political rally
Yeah.
and say that this is a protest against,
They're kind of like
it's disgusting. It's disgusting, yeah.
We're campaigning at the
Yeah,
moment.
100%.
Sure, guys. Hope you're getting some value, and hope you're enjoying the interview. And we are going to discuss about EDA at the moment, because we are in KZN, that's KwaZulu-Natal, and at Msunduzi municipality. The current mayor, I have to talk about it, Chris Pappas. I have so much respect for him and the kind of work he is doing. And I just wanted to get to know your thoughts and views on Chris Pappas and how you
I do not know Chris Pappas. I just
You
see.
don't know him in person?
I don't know him in
But
person.
you know DA.
I know DA.
And you know DA
I can
in
tell you
Kenya.
about DA.
But you know DA in Kenya.
Yes. So what DA has done is they
Who's
found.
the current, what you call, person for DA here in Kenya?
In KZN, I don't know.
Chris Pappas.
Oh no, he's the premier elect.
Premier, yeah.
They want him to be the premier.
Yeah.
All right. The way the DA speaks, you think that they are premiers. They're not premiers. They call MEC elects and minister elects and all that. No. Understand this. Without numbers, you are nothing.
But he has the numbers though.
What numbers does he have?
On
What
Facebook,
numbers?
on Facebook,
on
all the
Facebook,
videos he
Facebook.
do and all that.
So my social media numbers will give me a good couple of seats in Parliament, but that's not converted into votes. So do not make the mistake. And really, this is my advice to politicians, especially. I've been in this game for too long. Papas is a small boy in front of me. John Steenason, who is his leader, and we work together. I know John personally, right? And I can tell you, they're all amateurs. They're all still learning. They get excited with likes on social media. Those likes are not votes. They're not votes. They found a white man who can speak Zulu very fluently, and they said, hey, clapping for him, and that's votes.
So you
No,
know him, right?
that doesn't work.
So you know him. And he can speak Zulu, right?
Yes.
Anyway, let's move to your current. I have a question for you before we close. Let's say what's the time? Almost closing. We are just about to close. If MK can win the elections, because you are a member, as you said, of MK, what are the three things, on your top list that you are promising, the citizens of this country?
Okay, I cannot give you
Beside load shedding, beside free education,
yes.
like serious things that we can see deadline. Okay, after the elections, maybe after 2 months, this is what we're going to do.
We're going to end corruption, because corruption is what's costing our country and robbing our people. We are going to end poverty. You'll see immediately poverty. Yes, poverty. Ending poverty.
How?
And we're going to end poverty simply by creating jobs, by instating this like I told you about the super tax on big business, because we need to bring in more income into the country, and the super tax is what's going to do that. So we need to find additional money for the country, and I think in general, this notion of creating a better life for all is what we want. We want to see that happening now.
It's
what
what years, but
No. The time that the ANC wasted, since 1994, while it was being captured, is what we're going to regain. We're going to regain those years. So, in terms of the three most important things, I cannot tell you as Visvin Reddy what the three things are, because as MK, we are engaging with communities and people on the ground. They will tell us what it is. I mean, I might tell you it's poverty. That's my own view. But if the people say, no, we want land. We want the land.
So land will be the main
Then
thing.
land is going to be the main thing. We'll be driven. That's why we're a people-driven organization.
Hope you graduates out there, you are listening and coming up with ideas, because we have thousands of graduates which are like unemployed, and they're sitting from behind and watching what's happening. And what can be your message to unemployed graduates, people who hold degrees of electrical, whatever, mechanics and whatever, and they're unemployed? It's a very, very scary thing happening here in this country. So maybe your message
Unfortunately, our country is not conducive.
Not politics, it's personal.
Unfortunately, our country is not conducive where government is going to be assisting you. All I want to say is that you need to take opportunities wherever they are.
Yeah.
If you go to genuine, successful business people in the world, they were not given handouts.
No.
They made it happen themselves. You can become an entrepreneur. You have a skill, like you're an electrician, you're a plumber. Go out, open up your own company. There are CETAs that's assisting you. Open up your own company, start your own business, create your own wealth. And that is the only way. Do not wait on handouts.
But
South
there are
Africa,
there are processes of all these things. You apply.
as MK, we want to take out the red tape.
Please,
Take out the red tape.
Please,
The problem in South Africa is that the government wants to create a welfare state. Keep our people living off handouts. Give you the 350, give you this grant, give you that grant, and then make it seem like they're doing you a favor. So you're going to go and vote for them to get the
voting for
350.
350.
You're only voting for 350 once a month.
So is MK going to give us 350?
No, you get more than 350. You'll get more than 350. I can tell you that now. But that 350 will be conditional upon you getting a job, because we want you to get a job more than get a 350 or get that unemployment grant.
I have to touch on this, and we have to talk about this, regardless of racial. Hope it won't come out. It won't come across badly, or hope you won't feel offended. Sitting here, you are an Indian person, and politics are politics. And we haven't seen much of people from the Indian side of politics coming into MK, going to DA. What's happening on that side here? Because you have a much more broader view on what's happening on the Indian side of politics.
Okay. I hate this question. I must tell you now.
Because I had to ask.
I know.
For my viewers.
It's fine. It's
For my
fine.
viewers.
I hate this question. I'll tell you why I hate it. I don't see myself as an Indian. I've never seen myself as an Indian in South Africa.
I get your respect.
I do not.
Respect.
I see myself as an African.
That's what Gates and Mackenzie stands for, by the way.
Oh, I don't follow him. I don't know. But I'm saying to you, I'm an African. And an Indian to me is the one that I see in India. That is the Indian. I am an African. And that's the reason why I identify with the majority of our African people. I will fight for African people. I don't fight for Indian people, because Indians
But
must
there's
do that
something
thing.
out there, people.
I'm aware of
I
that.
wonder what's-
I'm very much aware of that. I don't want to delve into that debate. I know, like me, there are many other so-called Indians who think like me, who see themselves as African, they're open-minded. You're my brother.
Exactly.
I don't see it any other way.
Exactly.
The blood that comes out, if you cut your hand, and the blood that comes out of my hand is the same.
Exactly.
And why should we be differentiating in this country and creating divisions? This was an apartheid strategy to divide us based on the color of our skin. Now, why should we be perpetuating what the apartheid government did? I don't care what color you are, as long as you can pilot the plane. As long as you're a surgeon, you can be a
all
black
have
surgeon.
same opportunities.
Yes,
Exactly.
you're cutting my heart, you're going for heart surgery, you're doing a good
Same
job.
thing.
It's still the same thing. I'm happy with it. So it's time that we focus on people's skills and not their color. It's just a distraction that I think that even the ANC has learned from the national government, that
And
they
ANC is
and
pushing
dividing
that
us.
agenda a lot.
Yes.
ANC is pushing that agenda a lot. Mr. Reddy, thank you so much. One last question. If you were given a chance to be the president of South Africa, what are the three things that you would do? You are the president tomorrow of South Africa. What are you going to do?
Ooh, number one, I'll remove all these extra lights, blue lights, everything. I want public representatives
Blue
to
lights,
be,
like what?
yes, the securities that the president and his cabinet members and mayors and everybody else have. I just think that public representatives, those that are serving in government, are servants of the people. We've come to a stage in this country now where we actually worship members of parliament, where we think that they are greater human beings than us, and yet we elected them. And let's not forget that they are servants appointed by us. As soon as we change that feeling, and that's why I will break down the barriers that separate the president, the cabinet, and members of parliament from the people. I'll break it down. We must be simple people, walking with the people, living with the people, taking away all this extra frilly things and scaring people. It shouldn't be that way.
And it's very, very simple, by the way. It's very, very simple.
So that's it. I mean, I must look at you, not the way you dress.
Yes, sir.
I must look at what's in your thinking, what's in your mind.
Yes, sir.
What can I get out? In my discussions with you, I can see
Yes,
that
sir.
you're a great thinker, and I'll admire that in you.
Yes, sir.
That's the most important thing. You can be a baboon, but dress up in a three-piece suit. That doesn't make you a very smart person,
That will
human
come
being.
out. This will come out.
It'll eventually come out.
It'll come out.
So that'll be number one. Number two, closest to my heart, is the issue of sharing the wealth of the country. I'll call up a cabinet meeting immediately. I will make sure we take out that recommendation that was put by, I think it was Trevor Manuel. Bring it back and impose a super tax on the companies listed on the JSE. Bring that money in. Nationalize our SASOL. Nationalize our Reserve Bank. Let the Reserve Bank come to the hands of the people. Put it in the hands of trusted people. Trusted people who won't steal. And let's take profits from there and create a better life for our people. Let's improve, let's use that money. Let's improve our health system. Let's improve our education system. Let's build houses for our people. Let's create jobs for our people. There is the money to do it. We will take the wealth of this land and share it among the people. And thirdly, I want to develop a nation, a South African nation that we can all be proud of. You see, when you came here,
we are one.
yes, you didn't really see me as an Indian. You saw me as your brother.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want to live in a country where racial divides are broken,
Exactly.
where we are proud of this country. I see a black soccer team that wins Bafana. Ooh, I don't know if that's ever going to happen in my lifetime. But if it does, I must be able to go out like how the people went out and supported the
When
rugby
rugby was
team.
on, yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
That's what brings that national pride. And we need a national pride in this country, something to look forward to, something that our children can grow up in. Today our kids are in schools where there's no race. There's no race. Why do we, especially the older politicians,
Us,
keep
yeah.
talking about
Us,
race,
old
race,
people,
race?
yeah.
Yes.
We're closing that, guys. Hope you enjoyed this first ever interview on the channel. I'll call it a podcast, by the way. I'm not sure. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What are your social media handles where people can get you? Maybe on YouTube or
Visvin,
Instagram?
Visvin Reddy.
That's VISN. Is it?
VISVIN Reddy REDDY.
That's
Visvin
on
Reddy.
TikTok.
TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
And for all the ladies who are watching this who thought maybe, hey, what's a handsome man? He's already married, guys. So please, please, guys, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.